Hello everybody, welcome to the Daily Sip. My name is Oliver and my mission is to make you excited about organic Japanese green tea. And today what we're gonna do is I will do a small preview of our next and upcoming documentary, which we just finished this week. So in November, as some of you might know, Will has gone to Japan and he has been discovering a little bit the Japanese or different regions in Japan and also visiting new farmers in this time when he was there. So what he actually did is that he traveled not only to Tokyo and the surroundings, but he traveled a little bit to different parts of the country. But starting out in Tokyo, what he did, or what the first thing is to see a little bit how nowadays Japanese people, or how in Japan the tea or the tea consumption is implanted, what are new trends coming up, what are things where they kind of adapted the old brewing style, which I am mostly doing, to a little bit into newer forms. There are not big changes in the consumption of tea itself, but there are some nice smaller innovations which have come up, which he will present in this documentary. And he has visited several tea shops in Tokyo. One of them where I absolutely wanted to go, but I couldn't the last time, is there's actually a drip coffee or a drip tea house where they have actually drip tea which is produced, or which is done there. So what it means is that you actually, on top of the tea, you have a filter where the water is stopped, then you just let drip through slowly the water, and you then drink it, making it a more intense and a stronger taste experience of the tea. So this is a tea shop which just opened, I think it's around 4 or 5 years old, so it's quite recent in Japan and in Tokyo. So this is also the world's first drip coffee, and I think they're quite successful. So he was discovering a little bit of different tea shops and also different methods of doing tea in Tokyo, in the surroundings of Tokyo. So he was concentrating mainly on this aspect. So this will be the first part of the documentary. Then what they did, so Agnese and him, what they did is that they moved out of Tokyo and then going in the region of Shizuoka, where they always also were able to visit small-scale family farms also, and to see really this balance, this symbiotic balance of nature and man. Only organic tea farms which they will visit throughout, or which they were visiting throughout their trip. And then often there was encounters even with wild animals in the tea fields themselves. So this is quite nice. And this is what also surprised me. All of the footage which I could go through is quite impressive, especially when you have this beautiful landscapes which are just around the tea fields. Not only the organic, but knowing that it is organic makes me just feel quite good. So, and then the next point, or next trip which he did then as the next point, is Uji, birthplace of the Japanese green tea. Some of you might know the history of the Japanese green tea, and there he was just traveling down to Uji, where also the birthplace of Gyokuro is. So some of you might know Gyokuro, and Gyokuro is actually the birthplace or in the surroundings of Uji, and they are also started there because what is nice, it is actually quite hilly in there. And what is good, that the hills and the trees on the hills and on the side of the hills, they give quite a good shade to the tea. So that's why you find also some tea farmers which still do natural shading. So conventional shading has become into vogue, especially in the south of Japan. But in Kyoto and surroundings, you can actually find some parts or some farmers which still do the natural shading, or just relying on the natural shading without additional shading of the tea plants. Good. And then he went down to the south of Japan. So he was going close in the region of Kagoshima. He was traveling around, and also in the region of Chiran. And there actually he met, for example, the farmer Kasugaen, which is the farmer of this tea. So there they just were tasting also different kinds of tea, different varietals, and learning also about a little bit the different climates. Because what is nice about the south, for example, this tea here is a Yutaka Midori. Yutaka Midori is a cultivar which is very sensitive or pretty sensitive to frost, as some others like the Samidori, for example, also the Asatsuyu, some of the cultivars which are quite sensitive to the heat of the to the cold, and then they can only be planted in the south. So this is also something which he will discover a little bit, guiding you through as well to the different tastes of cultivars, tasting black tea as well in Japan. Quite a nice experience too, even though I must say, and I have an Iranian friend, he quite said that the Japanese black tea could be in certain aspects a little bit better, but I haven't been diving into Japanese green tea yet so deep, so maybe this is something which will come up as well in the future. But for now we're gonna stick to green tea, and this one here is a Fukamushi style from the region of Chiran. Very sweet tea, Fukamushi, something which is especially made or used in the region of Shizuoka. There you see a lot of Fukamushi farms. For example, the biggest or one of the biggest producers in Japan of green tea, which is called Sugimoto. They have a big production in Shizuoka, but also in the south where this tea is from, farmers tend to or start to use Fukamushi to just create and kind of produce especially good teas, especially sweet teas then, because the Fukamushi, so the deep steaming method, actually allows them to do so. And this is then a 3-part documentary, so it's going to be all in all around 1 hour, a little bit more than 1 hour long. So I am very happy that we were able to launch this and to just show you a little bit more about Japan and all the culture around tea. And not only producing or seeing a beautiful Fukamushicha, which I'm brewing here, but also that you can see different parts of different aspects. Also tea ceremony, he was able to film a tea ceremony also in, I think he was in Kyoto, where he even met somebody from the tourist, kind of the tourist responsible for Uji, and she was like showing him around in the whole area of Uji and also in Kyoto, bringing him to different tea ceremony places where he could really film for you and really see a little bit and let you dive into the world of the tea ceremony in Japan. So I'm very, very happy that we were able to release another documentary about the Japanese green tea and about our journey finding the best organic green tea in Japan. So this was the Daily Sip of today, a little preview of our upcoming documentary, and you will not have to wait long. Tomorrow is the launch date. So until then, I hope you will like it. Let us know in the comments. Please let us know how you like it, what parts you like the most. We are going again in May, April, end of April, early May. We will go there. So the more you want to know, the more things you're curious about, we can maybe captivate them for you, and then we can show them to you with our next documentary. So I hope you have a great day. If you haven't finished yet your week, if you see this in the evening or maybe tomorrow morning, then have a great weekend. And I guess I see you on Monday. See you. Bye-bye.